Hi, I've decided to start vlogging my reading. At the start of the year I wanted to really get into reading as something I've never really done before. I've sort of had a mental block about reading and I really wanted to get myself into it. So far I've read 7 books this year, and I think like talking about it like just kind of to myself would be a good way to sort of like carry on. So I've always been a big fan of like journals and notebooks, so I bought this, and basically it's I haven't updated it this bit, but I want to like log my reading. So I've done all of this. This is a book club resources that I'll get to at some point. Those are my 5-star, I've only got 2, and then these are the books I've read. Some of them were from like late last year, but yeah, I filled this up. So on this page is going to be like some thoughts about books, and then I'm going to do another one of them. So I like kind of didn't really know what kind of books I wanted to read, so I basically got loads of easy kind of books I thought would like help me ease my way into reading. I've been reading a lot of like just like modern fiction. I read an Agatha Christie. I read a lot of Nick Hornby. I read Juliet Naked, High Fidelity. I'm currently reading A Long Way Down, and I like them. I just wanted something more serious. I've kind of challenged myself, so I'm reading 100 Years of Solitude just because I saw someone on TikTok say it was their favourite book, and it was like magical realism, and I was really interested in that, so I got it. I didn't realise it was going to be like so dense and like, I don't know, I really struggled to read it, but then I really like got into it recently, so I'm like, I'd say I'm like 2/3 into it. I'm hoping I'll maybe finish it today because I absolutely love it. Like, I haven't read anything like this before at all, so it's really like spurred me on to read some more like classic literature. This is probably going to be one of my favourite books ever. So I finished it. I think it's like nearly midnight. When I finished, I sort of just like sat back and thought for a while, and I kind of realised that I haven't actually seen anyone since I started reading the book like in person. I obviously have like FaceTiming people, my family, but so technically I have read this in solitude. This has been an experience that I haven't like shared with anyone else. I'm finding it difficult to like sum up what I'm feeling about it. I think it's just honestly because I've never read anything like this that's made me think about like how history is like taught and remembered, and how it like represents time. It was obviously written after all the events, but the fact that he jumbles up like the tenses, like he'll talk about the future as if it's like the past tense. It's honestly, I really love it. I really love it. So I'm not entirely sure like what I'm gonna do with these vlogs. I don't know if anyone's gonna watch these videos. I guess I should give like a brief description of what 100 Years of Solitude is actually about. It follows a family called the Buendia family over about, I think, 5 or 6 generations in a town called Macondo, and they all the men have similar names and the women kind of have similar names, and with the same characters with the same name you sort of see the same like characteristics and actions. Yeah, it doesn't really have like a main storyline in a sense. It just follows his family over like 100 years, like even more. So yes, that's the explanation. I keep thinking about it more, but because I'm sure there's like so much more like meaning behind everything. But myself, I'm like a person who just kind of is reading for fun at the moment, can enjoy a book without knowing every single detail that it was like alluding to. I think that's good. I don't want to be someone that's trying to act like I know what he was writing in like every single sentence. Like the imagery was like beautiful anyway, but I think I've seen so many people talk about it as something like bigger, but I just want to be able to enjoy it as I read it, and I did, and I've never read anything like that before, so I think I'm happy and like content with like I've read it. I'm proud of myself for reading it. Maybe I'll go back to it, but I'm happy to just like let myself think about it and not put too much meaning to what I read, if that makes sense. But I enjoyed it. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload this. I want this to be sort of like an introduction to what I'm gonna be doing. I haven't really like explained. I've never really read before, like being a serious reader. I'm dyslexic, so I find it hard to read. So I do use audiobooks, but I'm gonna try and like wean myself off them. I'm doing that now, like books that are like shorter or like I think will be easier to read, I'm gonna really try and not use an audiobook. But for like the more like hard ones, long ones, older ones, I'm gonna have an audiobook, and I'm obviously gonna be reading along. I am actually listening to Long Way Down by Nick Hornby at the moment, which I don't actually have the book to, because funny story, I ordered the book and it came in German, which was quite funny. I could have attempted to read it in German, but I'm not that smart. So I'm just listening to that. I usually like listen to that when I walk to uni or I walk to the shops. So I'm like slowly going through that. I will count it as like one that I've read. I don't know, to me it doesn't hold up as one of Nick Hornby's like best. Like I would say High Fidelity is, or like I really like Juliet Naked. Like that's probably one of my favourite books I've read this year. So yeah, I'll probably finish that this week. I should get the books that I want to read. So like continuing with the magic realism, I've got The Night Circus here. We've had on our bookshelf for ages and I've wanted to read. So maybe I'll do that next. But I think I'm going to read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig next, because everyone's reading it. I see it everywhere on Goodreads. I want to read it. Also the other day I was in WH Smith and I picked up this just because it looked fun and interesting. It was half price. I was reading 100 Years of Solitude. I wasn't into it. I was like, I need something light-hearted, like romance, like friendship, and I think I'll do this. So I think I might read this first because it's shorter. But yeah, so I will upload this video and then upload weekly from there. So cool.